Did you know that by 2035, 50% of indigenous languages will disappear? Well, only if we allow it. Hello, I'm Paulina Miguel, and this is my project, Retelling Nahuatl and Aztec Cultural Heritage. Considered the most important of the Uto-Aztecan family, spoken in central and western Mexico, there are more than 30 variants, different in their phonological structure, vocabulary, and in their history. During the early colonial period, Classical Nahuatl was considered the cultured and elegant variant, the language of science, art, and religion. Formerly the language of the Aztec Empire, Toltec civilizations, and lingua franca in various regions across Mesoamerica, it emerged around the 5th century, with the arrival of the first Nahuas in the Valley of Mexico. Of all the indigenous languages present before the colonization, the most widespread was Nahuatl, since it was used by numerous Nahua groups scattered from the Huasteca to Guerrero and from the Valley of Mexico to Central America. The Nahuatl dialect spread with expansion of the Coyotlaltelco culture during the 5th and 6th centuries. The Nahuatl linguistic group is the most widely spoken group in Mexico, with 1.5 million native speakers, according to INEGI. A large body of literature in Nahuatl produced by the Aztecs survives from the 16th century. It has been a valuable language due to its historical, linguistic, literary, and nationalistic importance. It is the indigenous language that has influenced Mexican Spanish the most, as we can see in numerous Nahuatlisms. There are reminiscences of Nahuatl in words, ways of speaking, and even in ways of feeling and seeing the world nowadays. Above all, it is important because it has helped to strengthen the identity of the Nahua people. This proposal consists of the making of an educational and entertaining approach to the Nahuatl language and cultural heritage through a series of bilingual graphic novels and interactive webcomics including Aztec history, customs, mythology, and more. The first phase, the following actions will be carried out. First, researching about the history of Aztecs, Toltecs, and indigenous groups involved in the surgeons and history of Nahuatl and its variants. Then, adapting it into a story. Even though this series will be based on truthful historic events, fictional elements will have to be incorporated for narrative and entertainment purposes. Then, collaborating with historians, linguists, indigenous groups, and other experts to verify the faithful representations of the critical elements of the narrative. Phase 2. Collaboration with animators, cartoonists, and comic artists will be required to design the visual imagery and representation of the novels. Phase 3. Proposing the implementation of these novels in public and private schools, establishing contact and making a collaboration with Secretaría de Educación Pública and other state organizations of education to incorporate this project. And finally, doing a trial run in classrooms of different grades to test the effectiveness of this approach. Why is this project important? Culture is what gives life to human beings. Culture is practiced and transmitted. Mexico is considered the 8th country in the world with the largest number of indigenous peoples. It was the first to recognize itself as a multicultural nation following indigenous movements. However, a widespread attitude of racism has affected the intergenerational transfer of the language throughout the years. For several years, indigenous people of different ethnic groups have demanded before the Mexican state the need for the linguistic and cultural knowledge of their communities to be included in educational programs. According to the concept of identity, we need to see ourselves reflected and feel connected to our community. However, many indigenous communities do not feel that way with Mexico's social environment. This project seeks to preserve Nahuatl heritage and strengthen multiculturality nationwide. So what is needed is a change in perspective and now look of a multilingualism where we can give these indigenous languages more opportunities for communicative situations. There's a necessity of representation and finding common ties. According to the World Bank Organization, a culturally pertinent and quality education would not only help reverse the rapid loss of indigenous languages in the region, it would also enable the attainment of more inclusive and resilient development. Let me introduce you to Montserrat Escandón Bringas, entrepreneur and student at Tec de Monterrey Campus León in food engineering, where she explains the importance of preserving cultural heritage.
Es por esto que decidimos hacerlo específicamente con los orígenes, con la cultura y con los antecedentes, porque con esto podemos entender porque pusieron el cacao, porque pusieron el maíz, porque pusieron el agua, porque el azúcar. Porque al final del día todo esto tiene que ver, o sea, no simplemente es porque sepa rico, sino todo tiene como un antecedente o un pasado del por qué está en esa bebida.